Hi everyone. It's good that I can't see anyone here from here. My name is Tom Trandt and I am a fashion designer. Well, I never imagined being in an audience like this, speaking to future leaders of art and design. I grew up in a household with scientists, and I was a very proud black sheep. And I only wanted to be around other black sheep, and this is the biggest convention of black sheep that I've ever been to. So this is a good start. My education has introduced me to many different cultures and bring me to many places in the world. And seeing not much Vietnamese art and design compared to other artwork from other Asian countries like Japan and Korea and China make me feel a little underrepresented. And I would imagine that it's hard for our international audience to understand what it means to be a Vietnamese designer. I also went to a science high school, which was a dark time. After my first semester, my future looked like this. That's it. I was constantly reminded that people around us felt hard to understand what we really do. I mean, I also don't understand what I do. But it feels like the media does, and they help by labeling us những người làm đẹp cho xã hội, which literally means, which can literally translate it to people who decorate our society, which I thought was ridiculous. That needs to be changed. We're not people who decorate our society. Our job is to reflect it. After my first job in 2015, I knew for sure that I wanted to be a Vietnamese designer who promote Vietnamese culture. But it was easy to spot any Korean or Chinese or Japanese companies in your city or an institution that I can work for, but it felt like there was no Vietnamese company that I felt like I wanted to work for and add my value as a fashion graduate. So at that time, I was finding another location to build my foundation, and I thought of Saigon, the heart of Vietnamese art and design. And when I tell my parents and my family and my friends that, they said, no, there's nothing here. The market is not ready yet. People only wear basic things, and there will be no room for you to grow. But I was watching Vietnamese Next Top Model at the time with all the crazy outfits they were wearing, and I knew that is not true. So I came back, and I soon realized that their warnings made sense. Even finding my first company, I felt like the chain was missing links. I was lucky to work and intern in a company of only 3 people that produced more than 10 collections in 3 years. But I felt so disappointed that I could not replicate that efficient business model in this market, mainly because of the lack of a support system, especially retailers. On top of that, Vietnamese designers want to pursue the see now, buy now model, which means that a designer now is expected to oversee all aspects of a company, from design to management to marketing to retail and production. And while overseeing the production, I was shocked at how much waste a company produces. To demonstrate that, I bring with you the waste that my company produced in just one cut. Can you help me bring the bag with? I'm here. So I'm just asking you to sit over there and somebody to pull it across the room. This is a waste. You can see tiny bits of fabrics that cannot use for anything else, enough to make clothes for everyone in the first row. And this is just one cut. So a light bulb went up in my head. Oh, it will be forever. And imagine we do it every day. So the light bulb went up in my head, and I was thinking to recycle them. So the piece of fabric that is no longer big enough to make a jacket, we combine it with another piece of fabric and make one jacket. Smaller pieces would be used for decorations, and tiny bits would be used to stuff pillows. Having to build a production in-house team now has become an advantage, because with the production team in-house, we can recycle and recycle every piece anytime that we want. But sustainable design comes with a cost. One unexpected challenge was to convince my team that we have to pursue this approach seriously. And because, recycling and recycling is hard to manage, and they are costly and time-consuming, calculating this material is also very difficult. So over time, I felt like my team was becoming more frustrated and become anxious and felt like this is some extra work without importance. That was before this bag became our bestseller. Probably you will recognize it because we sell it so quick. So quick. It was a surprise. It looks great in magazine. It is full of personality, and no two bags are identical. So it became ideal for a special gift. Now, this has been our 5th season doing recycling and recycling, and this has become one of the things that we are known for. And because our team now recognize the importance of this approach in terms of business, they take it more seriously and become more invested in the design process, so they create better products that sell better, a win-win situation. In the past few years, I've witnessed an incredible growth in digital marketing in this market. Most local brands now rely on social media advertising to sell products, and technology has become such an incredible way to reach your audience with your message. The problem is, I felt stunned that it's not unusual for a local brand not to have a message. Profit is one important part of any business, but so does social impact. We need a motivation that is greater than just mere money. By addressing social issues and promoting sustainability and advocate for gender equality, we set ourselves apart and memorable, and stay memorable even when you turn off the phone and don't see any ad. Our market's general low price gives little room to design. But my experience working in charge of a design department in a company has taught me one thing, that even in an emerging market, there are nuances to a brand's DNA. And as the brand grows, so does its range of products. And that will give you space for creativity. New approach needs a little time to be adopted. I've learned that when you come into a business space and you make a meaningful contribution, people notice you. And if you're able to maintain that, make an effort to continue that contribution, they trust you. And that is when you can come in with full support to change details about the industry that better align with your values and your vision. I would like to say that changes are happening. When I first got back here, my focus was just to make a name for myself, and then things change. Sustainability has become such an important topic in the last few years, so big that Locals magazine repeatedly talks about it, and even LUK dedicated a whole issue on this topic to cover this movement. As of last month, a report reveals that Vietnam has the highest rate of growing population of ultra-millionaire, people who has more than $30 million of net worth. Anybody here? But with growth comes problems. We are also expected to be one of the world's top manufacturer in the next 15 years, along with Malaysia and Indonesia. Anybody here has a farm at home? I do. I have a farm at home, and it's unbelievable that in 2018, when people are landing on Mars and they're landing on Moon, and here we are, obsessed about clean food and clean water and clean air. We already have one of the top polluted cities in the world. It's important to keep in mind that our sketch will become 100 products. It will become 1,000 products, 10,000 products. So remember that there is more to fashion than just style. Recently, I had an amazing time and opportunity to represent our community in an international program that allows me to work with international designers from all over the world, and 15 of them, each one with different challenges at their home. And it's clear to me that even though the fashion world is coming together to solve problems like race-related issues, promoting equality, in promoting inclusivity, there are still problems around the world that affect only regional and local communities that are left for us to solve and nobody else. Media and art censorship is one of them. Oops, I said it. They didn't want me to be political. I would like to end my talk on a personal note. It was hard for me to leave New York City. I felt like I would soon fall behind if I didn't stay in the center of the world. But I was clear that I want to be known as a Vietnamese designer who promotes Vietnamese fashion. And I followed adversity because I think with risk come better and greater opportunities. I think that an emerging market like ours will open a lot of doors for new leadership to come. This has to be the most exciting time to be a Vietnamese designer, because of all the changes in culture and politics, and technology had made our citizens very aware. And the role of designers today are much better recognized. We're not decorator of society. In fact, I want to put some pressure on you. I thought you are Vietnamese art and design future leaders. And you will be scrutinized and criticized for everything that you do. So keeping in mind that art reflects life, and we reflect on what we build or censor, make sure that every painting, every photograph, every product, every design send a message of change, because we need it. I can't wait to see your message. Thank you for your time.